embedded-based automations for the smart agriculture. And he is also faculty at ER and DCA Institute of Technology for the MTech program and handle the classes for advanced computer architecture. His interest in agriculture over robotics, digital agriculture, satellite-based crop management, and UAV farm management. He has been the project lead for SMR farm system, LeafSense, a leaf analysis solution, and AgriSense as in NPK sensor system. So let me hand over the session to Anish. Okay, he's going to be giving a topic on IoT and sensor-based data-driven technologies in small precision farming. Welcome, Anish.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. So, am I audible or I have to the mic?
I will give the mic.
Yeah. So, good morning all. And thanks to the organizers for giving an opportunity to stand before you and to present about the IoT in agriculture and as well as about C-DAC. What are the activities C-DAC is doing in agriculture domain, especially for AI-driven agriculture, for agriculture automation in those areas. So my presentation, hardly 90 minutes, 90 to 100 minutes, that's the time given to be allotted to me. So most of the time, so my presentation, it is divided into 3 parts. The first part, I will be covering about the IoT sensors. Before that, have a brief slides on C-DAC. Then the second part, I will be covering about the IoT sensors. Then the other part, I will be covering about data-driven agriculture. Then our sensors and data-driven agriculture. And the last part, there is a use case for a small hands-on kind of thing. Since I couldn't bring the hardware, and hands-on explanation is also included. So these are the, this is how I have organized the presentation. Okay, so more or less, I like to conduct the session in more interactive ways. So maybe you can ask questions whenever it is required. There is no need to wait until the end for the question answer session. So whenever you feel you want to clarify something, just stop me and I can we can discuss on that. Okay. Okay. So before starting my presentation, let me give a brief introduction about C-DAC. So how many of you know about C-DAC? Have you heard of the word C-DAC? Yes. So actually, C-DAC comes under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So C-DAC was organized, was introduced down back in 1988 when there was a limitations on when there was some ban on supercomputer related import from foreign countries or from European countries. So the first mission or the first job assigned to C-DAC was to develop India's first supercomputer. And successfully C-DAC has developed the first supercomputer long back in 1990s. C-DAC has developed the first supercomputer. Now we have a series of supercomputers in those areas, means in those series like Param supercomputers you may be heard of, right? So we have a lot of supercomputer systems in that series. So after that, actually, C-DAC mainly it's a premier R&D organization under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and we are working in different areas like these. There are different areas are mentioned there. So these are the different areas, means in automation, in hardware. So somebody of you may have heard about the Vega microcontroller. So Vega microcontroller is the first of its kind microcontroller designed and developed by indigenously in India by C-DAC. Okay, C-DAC Thiruvananthapuram has developed the first microcontroller in India, that is Vega microcontroller. It is commercially available and its kits and its development boards in college development kits, everything is available now. That is the one of the first microcontroller. And we have other divisions in communications, power electronics, the 1 and 2 communication system is the emergency response system. I think it is about to be installed in Tamil Nadu. So it's a previously we used to call 100 for police, 101 for fire and ambulance, different numbers were there. Now, as per the government rules, it is migrating to 102. So 102 will be the emergency response system, and it will be connecting all the response agencies like police, ambulance, hospital, fire, disaster management agencies, and other government agencies who are all involved in the disaster kind of thing. So everyone will come to that. So C-DAC is implementing this 102 system. So these are some of the major projects which C-DAC is working on. And we have 11 centers. Now I think it is 12 centers. We have 11, 12 centers all over India, and our headquarters is at Pune. And we have more than 5,000 employees. And Trivandrum is one of the biggest center where we have more than 1,000 employees. And in Trivandrum, normally we are in Trivandrum. It was as part of Keltron. Keltron, somebody of you may be aware of. It was Kerala Electronics Limited. So C-DAC was initially working as the Electronic Research and Development Center of Keltron, and later in 1988 it became ERDCI, means it was taken over by Government of India. Then in 2002 it was merged with the C-DAC team. And we are an ISO 9001 institute, and in C-DAC we are made in Trivandrum. Actually, there are multiple divisions are there. Like myself belongs to Control and Instrumentation Group, and Power Electronics Group is there, who are working in power electronics related activities or power related work, means transformers or railway power grid center. Then another division is Broadcast and Communication Group. Broadcast and Communication Group mainly working on the communication aspects like SDR, software defined radio, or RF communication, and different modes of communication policy generation. So those people are working in that area. And another one division is this hardware group, or this hardware design group, or this FP, means Vega microcontroller was developed. And Strategic Electronics Group is another division. In Strategic Electronics Group, normally we are working with in areas like military, means we are closely associated with the Navy, BSF, and our military related products we are developing. Then we have another division called Intelligent Traffic Management System, and they are mainly developing the next generation traffic controllers, and they are formulating the rules and regulations for the traffic management and traffic improvement policies. And so these are some of the areas where C-DAC is mainly working in. And normally, as I said, C-DAC comes under the R&D division of that. So for the R&D part, we are closely associated with the industries, different industries all over India, and different educational institutes like IIT and IIT and government universities we are very much associated with. So how the mode of operation of C-DAC is? Actually, these are the different modes of operation of C-DAC. One is means in the normal mode of operation, what C-DAC does is C-DAC develop a particular technology, field prove the technology, means we will do few field installations or system installations, and once the technology is field proven, then the technology will be transferred to third party, because C-DAC won't do mass production, or it's a means I can say that it's a non-profit organization. So we won't work in the business kind of things. We will do the research development, field prove the technology, transfer the technology. We have a number of agencies who are associated with this. So how the different agencies are associated? One is through exclusive product development. Currently I am doing a project with the Konkan Railway. It's an exclusive product development. So it's an AML based system, because some of you may have gone through the Konkan route, right? So it's going through different hills and valleys. So during rain there are a lot of news about the landslide, about rockfall, and about the train blockage. So Konkan Railway approached the C-DAC to develop a system to monitor the railway track, and to alert the concerned authorities whenever something happened in the railway track. So we have developed a camera-based solution, where the camera-based system will be situated along the railway track, maybe for the vulnerable locations. Vulnerable locations means some locations which is prone to danger. Okay, so in those locations we will place the camera-based system which monitors the railway track and identifies, or it could identify what is happening in the railway track. If anything like a waterfall or animal crossing or a tree fall, flooding, soil slippage, anything, any kind of such incident happen, immediately it will be alerted to the concerned authority. So that system we successfully completed. There is a kind of exclusive development. We have exclusively developed the technology for common railway. Then another mode of operation is associated with C-DAC in joint projects, where this government universities or NITs, IITs will associate with the C-DAC. So whenever some technology is demanded by some industry or it's a need of the hour to develop some technology, we used to submit proposal to MIT. So for MIT, normally it is mandated to associate with some universities or IITs or NITs to proceed further, because the idea is to incorporate more students or more professors in the area, so that the technology what we developed is theoretically and practically and should be field proven or safe proven. Okay, so that was the idea. And the third is transfer of technology. As I said, some products will be developed by C-DAC. I have a presentation on smartphone system. Being an agricultural seminar, I thought I will have a few slides on our agricultural system. So in that system, what we have done is we have developed the system. We have field proven the smartphone system in some 3-4 farmers field, and after that we transferred the technology to some third party. Some 2-3 companies have taken the technology. Now they are taking the projects and they are manufacturing the unit and doing the field implementation. That is the third mode of operation. And fourth one is value addition or reselling. So in value addition, maybe some imported softwares or some softwares which needs to be customized for Indian scenario. So in that scenario also C-DAC will procure those items and C-DAC do the necessary value additions and will sell or will give to the concerned authorities or to the requirements. Okay, so that's all about C-DAC. I think you got an overall idea about C-DAC. Okay, so let me, yeah, one more slide is there. So as I said, the C-DAC is associated with the different agencies for the TOT technology transfer, for the transfer of ideas, for the transfer of technology itself. So these are some of the agencies with whom C-DAC is associated with. I have incorporated only industries, but not many universities and IITs and NITs are also associated with the C-DAC for multiple projects. Okay, with the cyber forensics area, another one area I forget to add is cyber forensics. So most of the cyber cases or cyber related activities or inquiries which are coming to C-DAC only from all over India. We have a separate division on cyber forensics and cyber security. Okay, so that's all. So let's just move to today's topic. Okay, so wireless and IoT modules in agriculture. Okay, so as I said, this is my first part of the presentation. So I'll be giving a brief introduction about IoT sensors or wireless sensors in agriculture. Then we will go into some more details. What are the things and what are the things to be done? Okay, so what is IoT? What is IoT? Internet of Things. What does it mean? Yeah, we can acquire the device data or we can commands to the device through our internet, right? So always it will be a live device, right? Okay. So there is a concept of Internet of Things, right? So IoT where it is required. So before going into IoT, what is an embedded system? What is an embedded system? A system which is designed for a dedicated application. Okay, so first let us start from there, because that was the keyword, right? Embedded systems. So embedded systems may be a network enabled device, or it may not be a network enabled device, right? So when I talk about an embedded system, it may be a network enabled or it may not be a network enabled device. So network enabled device in olden days and network enabled device we used to say it as an IoT device, right? Okay, so there is an option for the device to communicate to the real world. Okay, So we are normally using n number of embedded devices in our day-to-day activities, starting from our smartwatches, mobile phones and all. These are the different embedded devices which we are using in our day-to-day activities. But not all. In our washing machine, in our microwave oven, in our clock, in our watches, everywhere we have embedded devices. But not all these devices are connected to our network, or not all these devices needs to communicate something to the world, right? Okay, when a device needs to communicate something to the world, and if it is in a real-time manner, okay, what do you mean by real-time?
It is usually
continuously monitored.
Not continuously monitoring.
We can update the information every second.
Yeah, yeah. So not only the information update, but the control action needs to be taken place in the exact time. Okay, in particular hour, particular minute, second, millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond, and that incident should happen at that instant. Okay, there also we have two categories: hard real time and soft real time. Right? What is hard real time and soft real time? If it has to maintain the time exactly, that is what is called hard real time. Hard real time. So if there is some millisecond deviations or some time deviation is there, it is well and good. Then it is called soft real time. Okay, some atomic activities and it needs to take place that particular milli, micro, nanoseconds. Right? So those are hard real time activity. Okay. Suppose I have placed an alarm for 6 o'clock. If it is 6:01 or 6:02, nothing will happen, right? Okay. So, but normally it happens at 6 o'clock itself. Those kind of activities are called soft real time. Okay. So, coming to our topic. So, an embedded device which communicates in real time to the real world. Okay. It needs a communication mechanism. Okay, so that communication mechanism, now we have n number of communication mechanisms are available. Okay, 4G, 5G, wireless communication, wired communication, Ethernet communication, 485, 32, like that n number of communication mechanisms are there. Okay, normally for IoT devices, the communication should be the device to the network, device to the internet, right? So internet means from internet it is coming into the real world, right? So that is the communication mechanism from a device to the internet. Okay, normally what are the different communication mechanisms to communicate with the device or to a internet? The communication what we can expect between a device and the internet?
ZigBee.
One is ZigBee communication. ZigBee, I will come to that, but the direct communication normally happens with 4G or 5G or Wi-Fi. Okay, a device directly communicates over to the network over 4G, 5G or Wi-Fi. Whereas ZigBee, LoRa, Sigfox, and there are some other mechanisms are there. So all these are wireless communication mechanisms or multiple units. So let me say that in this hall I have around some 20 temperature sensors I have placed. Okay, and all these 20 sensors, if it is communicating to the internet independently, is it a requirement? Is it needed? Not required. But what we can do, there should be a concentrator or data device which accumulates all these data inputs. Okay, which accumulates all these data inputs. Once all these inputs are collected, it can transmit the data to the cloud. Okay, so here all these temperature devices are IoT devices, but those IoT devices are not directly connected to the net, but through a data concentrator, a direct path is there. Okay, from a device Exxon to the net or to the cloud, there is a path is there. Okay, so for the device to device communication, normally we establish ZigBee, Sigfox, LoRa, and different communication mechanisms are there. Right. So this is about the brief introduction about IoT. What is IoT? How IoT is working, and how it differs from an embedded device. Okay, how it differs from an embedded device. Okay, embedded device, there is no necessity that it needs to communicate, but IoT device, it must have to communicate. Okay, so let me tell what are the benefits of IoT in agriculture, because this entire session is dedicated for agricultural activity. So let me say, what are the benefits of IoT devices in agriculture, or where IoT device? Because as you said, IoT devices, lot of sensors and a lot of intercommunicating devices comes into your mind. How this IoT is beneficial to agriculture? First, improves crop yield and quality. How the crop yield will be increased by using IoT sensors? How it will be increased? How it will be increased using IoT? Yeah, the basic thing is sensors, right? So it's a kind of data driven. Nowadays agriculture becomes data driven agriculture. Okay, because in previous generations or in previous generations, so how the agriculture or how the means the revolutions in agriculture happened, because our grandfathers or our forefathers, they are very expert in the agriculture field. Okay, a small change in the plant, okay, a small change in the atmospheric or climatic condition, they could sense what will be the after effects of this change. Okay, what will be the after effects of this particular characterization in the plant. They are well aware of those things. Okay, and they used to spend hours or more than hours in the field to interact with the plants, to watering the plants, to do the plant management. They used to spend a lot of time. But nowadays, as agriculture technology or as the life speed increases, most of the new generation peoples are reluctant to do agricultural activity. Right? It's everywhere it is the same thing. Even though in any state or any country, anywhere, the thing is new generation peoples are reluctant to do because it's not their fault. The thing is continuous monitoring, watering and irrigation, and scarcity of skilled workers, and also unavailability of workers. So all these things matters in agriculture, right? So the next revolution, after the green revolution, the next revolution, agriculture 4.0 or something like that, we can say in any name. But in those areas, actually the main role will be played by the sensors. Before that we have mechanization in agriculture, right? Okay, after the green revolution we have mechanization in agriculture. We have conventional things we replaced with many of the conventional things we replaced with the machines. But the thing is, now technology driven agriculture, or the term is precision farming. So the term precision farming, how many have heard about the term precision farming? I will come to the topic. So these are some basic or the basement thing I have to put on. What is precision farming? What is precision farming? Huh? Not accurate.
Advanced.
No, madam. The precision farming, how I can explain is giving the right amount of water and fertilizers in the right time, in the right quantity, and in the right proportion. That is what is called precision farming. Okay. It's not optimization, sir. Because let me say, suppose I have some 10,000 tomato plants in an area. So for those tomato plants, normally in the conventional method, what we used to do, we will water it continuously. Whether it is required or not, we will water it. Whether it is required or not, we will give the fertilizers as per our convenience or as per the procedure what we follow. We used to give fertilizers, right? And that is, but in precision farming, whenever the water is required, we will give the necessary amount of water, because we are going into an era where water will be more precious than petrol or diesel, right? So whenever the water is required, we will give the right amount of water. Whenever the fertilizers are required, whenever the fertilizers is less in the soil, or normally for flowering time or normally for yielding time, we have to give some fertilizers in more quantity. So that proportion we will decide or we will do, and we will give those things at the right time, in the right quantity, in the right amount. So that is what is called precision farming. How this, what is, when it is required or how much is required, how these calculations are done. These calculations are done by using sensors. Okay, these calculations are done by using sensors. Okay, so we have different kinds of sensors, different types of sensors. In agriculture, normally soil moisture sensor to know whether sufficient water is there or not, right? Then atmospheric temperature, humidity, because now that it is the era of climate resilient farming. Climate resilient farming is irrespective of the climatic conditions. We could create it artificially to get maximum yield or maximum crop, or means suppose normally this some crops will be there in very cold conditions. Okay, if I could create such a scenario in our climatic conditions or in our area, we could cultivate that particular thing. Okay, recently I have gone through an article. Normally this what it is called, Kunguma, right? It is cultivated normally in Kashmir. Yeah, saffron. It is cultivated in Kashmir. Okay. Now recently I have seen that somebody in Kochi, they have cultivated the saffron. They have done the saffron cultivation in a container. Not in one container, multiple containers. They have placed multiple containers, and inside the container they have maintained the exact climatic conditions of Kashmir. Okay. And they could very good yield also. That is the thing. That is what is called a climate resilient farming. Okay, this type of value added products we can cultivate anywhere means, or we can cultivate in large quantity means it is beneficial. Ultimately it is beneficial to the farmers. Right? So coming to sensors, till now I have not touched the cost part. I will come to that. Okay. So IoT sensors, when the IoT sensors in agriculture are concerned, these sensors normally collect information from the field. Okay, like temperature, humidity, atmospheric temperature, leaf wetness, leaf temperature, all those things it will collect. Once these sensors collect this information needs to be sent to a central point or needs to be sent to a cloud. Okay, where this data will be processed, and based on the data, the corresponding control action will be executed in the field. Okay, in that manner, the crop yield and quality will increase.
What about the pest control?
I have a slide, sir. I will come to that. Pest control also, there are different technology driven methods are there, like because most of the pest attack or most of the diseases, the first symptoms comes over the leaves, right? So you have a proper leaf analysis mechanism. Then by analyzing the leaf through AIML mechanism, we could in advance, we could say that something is going to happen in the plant, which our forefathers or our grandfathers used to do from their knowledge. Okay, it's not a new thing. Our forefathers or our grandfathers are well aware of all these things, but we are not. Okay, for that purpose we are using the help of AIML to develop such technology. C-DAC has done such a product for chili plants. Okay. I have a video, let me see if time permits. Okay, so then the second thing is better animal health management. Animal health is a part of the agriculture, right? Even though it is veterinary related things, it's a part of agriculture. So better means better animal health management. Because recently I have read in some article in Israel, I think, for some 5,000 cows, only 2 human manpower is required. Rest everything is managed by machineries, by sensing. By sensing means the vital parameters of the animals also collected, like its body temperature, its routines, daily routine activities. Its means if there is a change in the routine activity, then the sensor or the cloud analysis, it will identify that particular cow or that particular goat is having some issue, it's having some disease. Okay, like that it will analyze. Okay, then it's feeding, it's watering, it's milking, everything is done by machines. Okay, so that is the kind of activity. But for these machines to take the corresponding actions in the field, we need sensors and we need IoT for communication mechanism. Sorry. Then coming to increase the efficiency through precision farming, real-time data collection. The need for real-time data collection, especially in agriculture, it may not be a hard real-time. Hard real-time data we may not require, but some real-time is fine for us. But as far as animals or some aquaculture, fish farming are concerned, it's better to have hard real-time controllers. right? Because if ammonia percentage increases by 0.2 or 0.3, it is harmful for the fishes, right? So like that, some vital parameters are there for animal husbandry also, means animals also. Then cost saving. Cost saving is another important thing. Okay, suppose I have a farm of some 2 acres or 3 acres in my native place. Suppose every day I am getting all the information in real time in my mobile. I'll be happy to do much more in the farm, right? Okay, it is around some 100 kilometers away from here. It's not possible for me to go and check the farm every day and instruct the workers there to do, you do this, you do this. It is very difficult to do. Suppose I am getting all the information related with the farm in my mobile phone. Okay, then it will be encouraging me to do some activities in the field, right? Otherwise, what I will say, I am here, they are doing something, ultimately I am not getting any profit, only I have to pump money into the field and I am not getting anything. But if I get a real-time validation or real-time what is happening in the field is getting updated in my mobile, then my mindset will change. I will do something for something in my farm also. Improved sustainability, okay. Then IoT devices in agriculture. So this topic also I already explained. So it's basically about the sensors. Okay, the first 3 things: soil sensors. Soil sensors means it may not be only moisture sensor. Soil temperature is important for certain crops. Soil fertilizer means nutrient sensors like NPK. NPK are the normal micronutrients, and there are many micronutrients like calcium, boron, magnesium, and these are the different micronutrients in the soil. So all these parameters needs to be sensed, because I think you may be aware. Suppose I have few hundreds of plants in my thousands of plants in my farm, and because I am expecting, I have a salad cucumber. After some 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it has to start flowering. Okay, if it is not flowering, what I will do? No flowers are coming. Because for flowering, certain micronutrients are required, like boron, magnesium. Boron is the main thing. So I have to add some boron nitrate or boron related, something needs to be added. Okay, so these are the basic knowledge about the agriculture that we have. So if we could transform these knowledges into AR ML things, it will instruct us. You do after 4 days, after 4 weeks, after 5 weeks, you do this, like that, it will instruct us. Then next one is weather sensors. Weather sensors normally catches the weather related information. Okay, weather related, suppose if I want to know the weather of Annamalai University at this place today, I can get this weather prediction some 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back, even months back. How it is done? How it is done? Based on the sensor data or based on the previous data what is there in the data set. In the last 10 years in Annamalai University during November, this is the climate. Okay, and now it will check the weather parameters all around the places. If this is the scenario, and Annamalai University last 10 years, this is the thing. So the cloud analytics will generate a particular algorithm. It generates a particular or runs a particular algorithm and generates the inference like that. After 2 months, this will be the weather condition. This is the expected weather condition at Annamalai. So if this weather information can be taken as an input to the farmer, okay, then he can plan his cultivation accordingly. Okay, right. Then about the animal health monitoring that I already told. Then precision farming equipments, not only sensors, IoT equipments also there. Now C-DAC is working on a project called autonomous tractors. Autonomous tractors means human intervention is not required. Okay, suppose I have some 5 acres of land in my native place, and from here I can control the tractor, means I can configure the tractor and it will do the plowing there without any human. Okay, now it's not just joke, because now we have the mopping mechanisms in our homes, right? It is available. From our office I can mop my home. Okay, I can just give a command, it will do the mopping, it will do the survey and it will find out the boundaries and in which are the places I have to do the mopping. Before I reach home, it will complete the mopping and it will get charged by itself. Okay, automatic moppers are available. The same kind of things means It's not just a simple as mopping. As far as autonomous tractors are concerned, it is more DGPS or GPS related information are required. Boundaries needs to be taken care of, and no animals or humans needs to be harmed. So all these things are there. So multiple n number of sensors are there. So all these sensors managed. It is just started project. Maybe after 2 years. Or it's a 2-year project. After 2 years, we could come out with an autonomous tractor into the field. We could demonstrate it. Okay. Then field, it's not only for tractors, for irrigation pumps, irrigation motors, or these fans, for temperature control inside the polyhouses or foggers. Everything can be IoT enabled or IoT connected, so that we could control it from a long distance. Livestock tracking devices. This is another device. Another important thing. I have discussed about the different sensors for livestock monitoring. Similarly, I can track also. Suppose I have some 1,000 acres or 10,000 acres of land where I have my cow farm, and I have to monitor where my particular Excel cow, where it has gone, which are the areas it has gone, whether it has come back or something has happened, whether it is get trapped. So all these things can be done by using these livestock tracking devices. Now coming to the sensor technology in agriculture. As I said, there are different sensors. I will quickly go through these different sensors, because these sensors you may be aware of. Humidity sensors for relative humidity measurement. Temperature sensors for what purpose? Soil temperature, maybe soil temperature, or next one is atmospheric temperature sensors, right? Because as part of our smartphone system field testing, we have cultivated capsicum. So for capsicum, normally the temperature needs to be maintained between some 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, so that the farmer will get more yield. So for that purpose, what we have done is we have installed the smartphone system in a polyhouse, and inside the polyhouse we have controlled the temperature, atmospheric temperature. Whenever the temperature goes above this particular, anyway, you won't go below 24 in our places, right? So whenever the temperature goes above, immediately I start the fan and fan system or foggers and fans, so that the temperature comes down and I could maintain the temperature within the limits. Okay, so that is about the temperature. Then soil temperature, wind speed, wind direction. Wind speed, wind direction. So wind speed and wind direction sensors can be used to control the screens inside the polyhouses. Okay, there are some polyhouses are there. In the polyhouses there will be screens will be there. So using this wind speed and wind direction, they can control the movement of the screens. Then solar radiation. There will be some top screens will be there in some polyhouses. Okay, so whenever the solar radiation is more, normally they will put the screen so that the temperature inside the polyhouse zone goes that much high. But it will get the sufficient this UV lights for the plants. Then carbon dioxide sensors. As you know, carbon dioxide is one of the important parameter for the plants. Okay, for plants to grow, for plants to give yield, and also carbon dioxide is required. So carbon dioxide sensors we can put. Okay, because inside the polyhouses or inside glass houses are there. So inside glass houses, once the air gets saturated and the carbon dioxide comes down, we have to supply carbon dioxide. Normally in our open farming kind of things, that cannot be required. Then pH sensors. What is the importance of pH in agriculture?
Acidic progress.
Yeah, no, how it is affecting the plant or agriculture cultivation?
Few plants need a certain acidity level for it to be.
Not like that. Suppose if the pH is not normal in the soil, plant roots cannot uptake the nutrients. Any amount of nutrients you can add to the soil, but the plant roots cannot absorb the nutrients if the pH is above some certain level, because it's some membrane kind of technology, right? The roots follows to absorb the nutrients, right? So if the pH value is small, then the plants cannot absorb the nutrients. So we have to maintain the pH at a normal level or at the affordable levels. Okay. Then electric conductivity, that's also another important parameter. Rain sensors. So in the open farming area, suppose if I have some controllers to irrigate, okay, on timer basis. If it is raining, is it needed to irrigate the plants? No. So these rain sensors will give an input to the controlling action. Then soil fertility sensors. Soil fertility sensors, there are different types of sensors are there. One is optoelectronic sensors, means depending on the reflectance of the optical light from the soil, we can analyze the soil characteristics. That is optoelectronics based soil sensors. And another one is chemical sensors. Actually, C-DAC in association with NIT Trichy, we are developing a chemical sensor for soil fertility analysis for NPK. It's a membrane-based, selective membrane-based technology. So we have successfully completed the lab testing for N and P, and K testing, for the K, the membrane development is going on, because we have to develop that particular membrane. It's a chemical engineering department of NIT is associated with us. So they are developing the membrane which are porous only for a particular nutrient. Some nitrogen selective membrane means only nitrogen ions will pass through the membrane. So that there will be a potential difference, and we do the electronics part. We will measure that potential difference in nano or microamps or microvolts, and it will be amplified, and accordingly we can we will understand what is the nitrogen concentration in soil. Okay, that is about the chemical sensors. Then image processing. Image processing, leaf image processing, soil image processing. Actually, sir was asking about the first and this one. Another important is nutrient efficiency. Yeah, please.
Small clarification, sir. You mentioned about the rain sensors, which lets us know when irrigation is not required, when it's raining. So, if there is a agricultural unit where rain is heavier, more than what is required, how do we get to control it, sir?
It's a natural calamity, we cannot do anything. Rain is more, otherwise proper drainage mechanisms we have to consider, but it is nothing to do with the sensoring and that. But we will know. Normally, suppose here, normally we will get some 10 millimeter of rain. I think last 2 weeks you are getting some heavy rain. Yeah, heavy rain. That was actually unexpected in this type of areas, right? So that we can understand this is happening, but control action in open farms and then we cannot do any control action for heavy rains and that. Then coming to image processing. So for the image processing, normally as I said, one is leaf image. Leaf image processing we can do for disease detection, pest infestation, and nutrient efficiency also. Most of the nutrient efficiency we can identify in advance by using the leaf image processing. Okay, like suppose if there is nitrogen efficiency, how we will understand? Leaf will be pale green, right? If potassium deficiency is there, then what will happen? The sides of the leaves will be brown. Okay. If calcium deficiency is there, then the younger leaves will be curled or it will be cup shaped, and the yield or product will be of not having the actual shape and structure. If magnesium deficiency is there, then the veins of the leaves will be more visible. These are some of the symptoms which can be viewed very well in advance. Whenever it starts, we can do this analysis and we could analyze what is going to happen to the plant. Okay, that is one area. Another one is just like this pest infestation. Okay, so suppose in a large rice plantation, there is something has happened in middle. Okay, suppose I have some drone images or now satellite imagery is another area. So if we could get those informations and if we process those images, we could identify that something is going to happen in the field. The NDVI index or the green index will change for that particular part. Right, so that is the thing. That is the importance of image processing. I think I have a slide.
Infrared rays will have more impact.
IR lights also have more impact. IR lights not only for the crop management, mainly we can analyze the export quality products if there is some soft tissues inside the apple or inside the cucumber and those kind of things we can very well understand in a non-destructive manner using IR technology, NIR, near infrared technology. So normally, since I am explaining about image processing, one of the hot area which is coming up now is the satellite geospatial based crop management, geospatial data driven crop management. Because previously in India we will get the satellite data with a resolution of around 50 meters or 100 meters above. Okay. Now in 2023, government has changed the policy so that now sub 5 meter data is made available for agricultural applications. sub 5 meter. That means we can understand a small portion of the land. That much resolution, that much clarity of the image we will get from the satellite. And if we could analyze those images properly, even we could control the irrigation, fertigation, pest control, crop management, crop insurance, everything can be managed by using this geospatial area. There is one area, now C-DAC is looking for some collaborators. Actually C-DAC is in association with the SAC, and we are in need of some agricultural universities or colleges. I was just discussing about SAT to have a discussion with you have an agriculture department here, right? So we are looking for some experts in this area who can associate with C-DAC for this geospatial based agriculture cultivation or crop management. Because the main advantage of geospatial based technologies, because as far as we have seen the advantage of IoTs, there are certain limitations also there. The first thing is the cost. Okay, if the farmer has to invest a huge money for the initial investment, nobody will be ready to do. But as far as the satellite data is concerned, it is government's property, and if government is ready to give it for farmers, or if government is ready to release the data for the farmers, then we could give a cost-effective solution to the farmers. That is the advantage. Okay, so that's about the image processing. Then, yeah, so far we have seen the 5 parts of IoT and advantage of IoT. All those things we have seen. Now there are certain limitations. As any technology is concerned, there are certain limitations in IoT also. The first one is high cost, right? If you see a sensor for soil moisture sensor which is IoT enabled, how much it will cost? In Amazon Island we get sensors for 250 rupees, but then we can use only in labs. We cannot use it in farm. If we want some sensors which is very cost effective, means very accurate, reliable, and sensitiveness is more, then a minimum 5 to 10,000 rupees a farmer has to invest on per sensors. Okay, so each sensor may sustain at least for 1 or 2 cultivation periods, not more than that. Okay, so it's an investment. So there is the part. Okay, so that is one thing. So there are certain ways to do so. Actually, C-DAC has written a white paper on this. It can be given on a credit basis. What is credit basis? What is credit basis? Yes, there are 2 mechanisms are there. One is yield as a service. Suppose if farmer is getting good yield, a portion of that he has to pay back as a service for the service what he got. Okay, so it needs different policy changes or different government interventions, government agencies needs to intervene in. And second one is another one credit basis, just like we all have mobile phones, right? Okay, how much we have spent till now for the mobile phones, including the monthly recharge or 28 days recharge, costing everything. It will be in lakhs, right? Okay, suppose often mobile company person comes and he is telling that you have to give me, maybe let me say that 2.5 lakhs you have spent for the last 10 years. Anyway, it will be more than that, not less than that. Okay, 2.5 lakhs or 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs you have spent for your mobile phone. Suppose if some persons from the mobile agency, initially they comes and they are telling that you have to invest 4 lakhs, I will give you a mobile phone. How many of us will buy the mobile phone? Nobody will buy. Right, but here what they are doing, they are giving it as a credit basis, right? Okay, we are paying from our pocket every month. Now it is routine and we are not even bothered about, right? Spending 500 previous, 200 previously, 300, 400, 500, it is increasing. It's increasing. But we cannot leave, or we are getting the benefits of using mobile phones, right? And we are not ready to leave or avoid the benefits for the sake of 500 rupees per month. That is the thing. So if farmers are also getting such a mindset, they are getting few benefits, or they are getting enough benefits out of implementing the control system or IoT sensor or AML based decision making, whatever it may be. If they are getting enough benefits, okay, and they are not ready to avoid the benefits for the sake of some 500 or 1000 rupees per month, then they will pay. Okay, then they will pay, then the technology will comes into field. Okay, so that is about the cost factor. Then about the technical skills. Okay, so because these are electronic things, but now handling an electronic thing is not a big thing for anybody, because most of us, almost most of the communities or most of the farmer community members or everyone is using mobile phones. Then they have knowledge to use how to, because recently I went to Odisha in a tribal community. It's a very remote area, around some 8 hours journey from the city, 12 hours journey from the city center in a tribal community. Even they have mobile phones. They are very much used with the mobile phones. Okay, so their technical skills, because necessity is the mother of invention, right? So they need the mobile phones or they need the facilities provided by them. They will automatically study. Similarly, the farmers, if we could give better benefits or better understanding to the farmers or better yield to the farmers, normally they will study the technology beneath the IoT and agricultural automation. Then data management. Data management is another important thing. Data management and security, the last point. So as far as this is sensors are concerned, sensors are producing data. Okay, that data needs to be managed properly. Okay, with security, right? Why it is required? Because suppose as far as an agriculture sensor is concerned, it's generating huge amount of data. Okay, suppose if somebody has purposefully intruded in our system and they are trying to control our system, it will do inverse effects to our field, right? Similarly, if I have some 10 sensors, my co-farmer has another 10 sensors, and like that, a number of sensors are there in the field. If the data get mismanaged, the control system cannot do any action in the field properly. It will give some miscommunication, or it will give some false control communication. Okay, so those things needs to be managed properly. Network connectivity. Network connectivity means, as I said, some sensors needs to communicate to the cloud directly through 4G or 5G communication mechanism. Some sensors needs to communicate in between them and to a data concentrator and then to the cloud. So all these kind of communication mechanisms are established by using different networks. So these networks should be made available at the farm. Okay, fortunately in India now 4G, even 4G and 5G is available in almost all the nook and corners of India. In almost all our farmlands are covered with the enough network connectivity. Unless otherwise also, there are some mechanisms, because in this tribal community what we are doing is, we are transmitting the data from a remote location through this LoRa or Zigbee to a certain point where the network connectivity is available. Then from there the data will be transferred to the cloud. Then use cases. So these are some of the use cases. I think I won't spend much time on this. Okay, use cases. One is cyber physical systems. Okay, cyber physical system. So in cyber physical system, what does it mean? Means we have some physical system and we have some cyber sensor, means cyber system. These physical and cyber systems will communicate or needs to communicate each other to generate better or good inference for the farmers or to the plants. Okay, so cyber physical system normally what does it does is, it consists of n number of sensors and sensor enabled or IoT enabled devices, equipments and everything will be there in the field. So these devices will be transmitting the data to a cyber world. In the cyber world, this processing, data processing or data management will be done, and ultimately the result will be transferred back to the physical world where the control action will be executed. Then climate resilient farming, I think I already explained about climate resilient farming. Yield prediction. Yield prediction is another important area. Okay, suppose if I know I have one tomato plant with me, if I give everything properly, there is a calculation how much this yield I can expect from this tomato plant. Okay, if some drought happened, the yield will automatically comes down. Okay, if some flood happened, yield will automatically comes down. Okay, if I forget to give some nutrients, or or I misplace the nutrients, yield will come down. So if I know all these informations and I have an AML algorithm, then I can very well predict from my 1 acre or 2 acres of plant how much tomato I can expect. Okay, if a farmer knows about how much tomato he gets, in advance he can manage the market also. Okay, because you people all aware that there are certain time of the year when the cost of the tomato will be very cheap or the onion will be very cheap, and in some time it will be very high. So when it is very high, more people will come into onion cultivation, and ultimately they won't get anything, right? So the thing is actually it's not, we cannot blame the farmers also. The thing is, it should be some government policy. There should be some government policy so that the cultivation can be managed properly. Suppose let me say from Tamil Nadu, we are generating some this quintal of tomato. If that information I could transfer to my neighboring states where tomato is being transferred or where tomato is being exported, then if I could get that yield forecast information with me, I could get a better market for my farmers. Automatically the farmers' income and farmers' welfare will improve. Then A in agriculture, crop monitoring. These are the different areas where this agriculture comes into place. So cloud-aware data analytics. In cloud-aware data analytics means, what does it mean? Suppose I have some 5 sensors in my 1 acre farm. Okay, which monitors the soil moisture, atmospheric temperature, humidity, and these parameters will be monitored. If this information can be transferred to a cloud, and in cloud I can incorporate the weather data, the satellite data, and I could run a model to generate an inference, and if that inference I can transfer to the device in the field, okay, then what will happen? The control action will be more accurate and more specific. Okay, so intelligent decision making can be done, process forecast and inference systems, and cloud-based advanced process control. Process in the sense, these are agricultural processes. Okay, not industrial processes. Okay, so a cloud-aware control system or cloud-aware data analytics means the agri-supply food chain can be controlled. Okay, that is another important area. Agri means agri-food supply chain. Okay, so all these areas can be controlled because suppose in some specific season we may need certain agricultural product in large quantity. Okay, if there is the trend for the last 10 years, and if you could predict that and if you could instruct the farmers properly, you produce this particular kind of vegetable during this season, during this Chabarimala season or Payara Samrati, if you produce this kind of vegetable more, you will get more yield. Okay, if from the government level, if from the panchayat level or from the district level, if we could generate such kind of information, it will be more useful for the farmers. Okay. Then expert system in agriculture. This is nothing but imparting the knowledge of our grandfathers or forefathers to the new generation. Okay, the knowledge what our forefathers are having, if we could transfer those knowledge into an AML system, then we could very well manage the plants and crops in the field. Okay, suppose some yellowing is happening in my field. So immediately if there is a well-versed expert system is available, then it will ask a few questions and the farmer has to give few response to the question, and ultimately it will detect or it will suggest the farmer, this is what is going to happen in your farm, and these are the remedies which you can take on. Okay, to avoid such a scenario. Like that, expert opinion plus remedial measures can be given to the farmers by using this kind of expert system. Okay, expert system is nothing but we have to first make the system understand if this happens, if this happens, if this happens, if this happens, then this may be the reason. Okay, if there is a deviation, suppose first 2 conditions are satisfied, next 2 conditions are not coming, but some other scenarios are satisfied, then accordingly it has to route to the different scenarios and it has to come to the final inference. Then A in agriculture, AI in agriculture, because now AI is everywhere, right? Not only in agriculture, in road AI is there, AI cameras are there, right? In Kerala, a lot of AI cameras are there. In Tamil Nadu also it is there. Suppose if I am going without helmet, it will give me fine 500 rupees. Nothing, no police or nothing is required. Automatically, just as I cross this particular camera point, within 5 minutes I will get the SMS. You pass with the image, with a good photograph. You have passed this location without a helmet and 500 rupees you have to pay. And link will also be provided. If you are going without seat belt in car, as I just cross that particular camera, I will get the SMS. Okay, yeah. Okay, similarly, in agriculture also, lot of things can be done with the AI. Okay, as the data, as the sensor data increases, as the number of sensors increases, we are getting the provision to incorporate more and more sustainable and stable AI algorithms or AI frameworks in agriculture area. Okay, so AI means nothing much. The intelligence what our predecessors are having, we can just make the system, understand the system and impart the knowledge to the field or directly to the farmers or to the field. Okay, computer vision, deep learning, I already explained these things. The seasonal forecasting, precision agriculture, and okay, all those things I already explained. Then digital twin. Have you heard of the word digital twin in industry, right? Not in agriculture. What's the role of digital twin in agriculture?
Yes,
But
we will completely simulate everything.
we can simulate everything. As far as a crop or a plant is concerned, there are two different spatial domains are there. One is a domain which is very much related with the plant. Another domain is the atmospheric domain, the domain which is means around the plant. Okay, if we could develop a model or a digital twin of the plant, then if I want to create a digital twin of the plant, then I have to create a model for the plant as well as I have to create a model for the atmosphere, for the environment surrounding that particular plant. Because these two things, environment, that include the soil also. Soil plus environment and the plant. This particular plant has a certain characteristics. Suppose if I take a capsicum plant, means it has a certain character, it has to show certain characters after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, or after 15 days, 16 days. Like that, some study we can, or some model we can make. But everything is related with the soil and atmosphere which it is. So if we have two different models for the plant as well as for the environment surrounding the plant, then if we could merge these two models, we could generate lot of useful inferences to the farmers. Okay, suppose one farmer is having some 1,000 or 10,000 salad cucumber in his polygons. Okay, and if he is having a model or digital twin of his salad cucumber in lab, okay, then if the normal behavior of the lab, the digital twin of the plant in the lab and in the field, these 1,000 crops are there, if any deviation happens, okay, then immediately he can do the same thing in the lab or in the digital twin model and he can understand why that has happened. Okay, suppose I am not getting flowers, then I can create that particular scenario and I can get the inference out of that. There is a shortage of boron or there is a shortage of iron and magnesium. So this kind of inference can be generated, or there is higher pH is there in the soil, or the atmosphere it is too hot or too cold for the plant to flower. So all this scenario can be generated or can be simulated. Okay.
Are there any open softwares for research purposes in digital twin?
Digital twin in agriculture, open standards are not available. Open Modeling, we are trying to develop a model with Open Modeling. It's an open source. We are trying to do, but that modeling is not my area. But in some C-DAC itself, somebody is doing activity on with the Open Modeling software. Okay, so far we have seen different IoT and what is IoT, what is the use of IoT in agriculture, different IoT sensors and different IoT use cases. All these things we have gone through. Okay, now about low power wireless protocols. Okay, so madam was telling about ZigBee and somebody was telling about LoRa. So what is this low power? Why low power and what is the need for and what are the different low power technologies available. The first and foremost, the one is LoRa module. Okay, that is, what is LoRa? Have you heard of the term LoRa? Have you heard of the term LoRa? Huh? Yes. What is LoRa? It's a communication standard. It's a communication protocol or communication standard that works in a low power. Okay, or low energy consumption is required. Okay, right, because in agricultural field, suppose if I am putting a sensor and every day I have to go and charge the sensor, means it is not that practical. My sensor should work minimum for one cultivation period, at least for a week. Right, so the communication mechanism which is imparted over the technology, over the sensor, should withstand that particular power requirement. Right, so it's a LoRa is nothing but it's a long range communication standard. Usually works in it's an open standard. So works in 863 to 928 megahertz. And different ABC. It's a big technical things, and you people may be aware of this LoRa and communication technology. So I'm not going into the technical aspects of LoRa technology. Now another technology is NB-IoT. Okay, NB-IoT is just like our mobile communication. Okay, so mobile providers are providing this NB-IoT communication channel. The advantage is I cannot transfer my call or I cannot transfer my video over this NB-IoT protocol. Instead, I can transfer a very small data packet. Small data packet means the data packet is of the size bytes or bits can be transmitted over such a communication mechanism. Here it is normally 2G, 3G, 4G communication is required, but as far as LoRa is concerned or ZigBee is concerned, the thing is we can formulate a particular protocol. We can formulate suppose as I said in this room I have some 10 sensors. So these 10 sensors I can enable with the LoRa and I can create a data concentrator here. So I can create a particular protocol format so that these sensors and this concentrator will communicate each other and it will transmit. No recurring cost is involved. But whereas NB-IoT is involved, it is normally in connection with the service providers like Airtel, Jio, Vodafone. They are normally providing this NB-IoT. So they will give a particular device identification SIM kind of thing. So based on that, the data will be transmitted. That is the concept of NB-IoT. Then the range is better because just like our mobile phones, wherever the network connectivity is there, it has good connectivity. And it's the communication is a burden of the service provider. Whereas in LoRa or ZigBee, we are the creators, so we have to manage the network protocol, we have to manage the collision avoidance, we have to manage everything. But here, everything is managed by the service provider, provided and recurring cost will be there. It's also very low power and very good choice for IoT application. Okay, so this is the architecture of NB-IoT technology. So multiple NB-IoT devices will be there. These devices will be communicated through some network node or through some this antenna. Antenna will be provided by the service provider, or the data will be collected and it will be transmitted for applications like means in platforms or for data management or cloud-aware data analytics. In all those areas, we can transfer the data. Then another one is Sigfox. Okay, so Sigfox is another wireless communication. It was developed by French Global Network in 2010. Okay, just like LoRa, it is another communication standard developed by French Global, and it's also low power consumption, and it's working in 868 megahertz in European Union and 902 in other areas, 902 megahertz, and it is free, and it's ultra narrowband. Up to 150 links can be connected to a particular node. Okay, that is the case with the Sigfox. So we have seen LoRa, NB-IoT and Sigfox. So these are some of the IoT, as far as when I say about a sensor IoT enabled, so some communication mechanism. So once these devices communicate each other or communicate to a data concentrator, and from the data concentrator, the data needs to be transferred to a 4G cloud or to some data processing environment where it will be processed to generate better inferences. So it's low energy, simple, global, etc. And it is more secure because it was developed basically for French government's military applications, so it is more secure. Some security aspects they have increased inside these are very low power and best choice for IoT applications. So that's all about the IoT communication technology. So we have seen the IoT, different IoT, what is IoT and different IoT use cases in agriculture, and IoT's advantages and the challenges we have seen, and different communication mechanisms in IoT we have covered. Means LoRa, NB-IoT and SIG4. The ZigBee is also one of the things, but now ZigBee is means overcome by this LoRa communication mechanism. So as I said, C-DAC is working in different means agricultural management technologies or agricultural automation solution. So one of the solution which was developed by C-DAC is smart farm system. This smart farm is an edge IoT device. Means this smart farm system can accept different input from the sensors and it processes the data internally and the control action will be executed. Like these different inputs, temperature, humidity, wind speed, wind direction. These are the different inputs that can be interfaced with the smart farm unit, and based on the internal control algorithm, it controls the field equipments. Okay, so it can control around some 24 devices. So now this smart farm, the advantage of smart farm is it is from the scratch, it is designed and developed by C-DAC. So any level of customization or any level of adaptation to Indian farming scenarios and Indian crops and Indian farming conditions is very much possible. And we have done more than 10 or 15 installation, and the technology for this particular being transferred to multiple agencies also. Okay. So these are some of the features. As I said, it is an IoT hub or IoT device, edge IoT device. Edge IoT device means the normal computations or calculations will be done inside, whereas the data will be transferred to the cloud also. So these are the different inputs, means 12 number of analog sensors or different sensors can be connected, and 20 wireless sensors also can be interfaced. And it can control up to 24 devices, and it's having a big 5-inch or 7-inch display is provided in front of the smartphone device, so we can do the configuration and control operations of the smartphone system using the in the device itself. No external hardware or no external computer interface is required. It's an autonomous device, and SMS alerts can be generated. It operates in 4 modes: auto, manual, remote and timer. In auto mode, based on the sensor data, it controls the field equipment. In manual mode, we have a touch panel, just like our mobile phone capacitance touch, it has a touch panel, and using that touch panel, we can control the different field equipments. Okay, then in timer mode of operation, we can configure time of the day or a week of the day we can configure, and accordingly that particular control operation will happen inside the field. And in remote mode of operation, through mobile application, we have a mobile application, and through mobile application we can control the different field equipments. Then combination of LoRa, Wi-Fi and 4G, 5G communication connectivity also provided. And this is the overall working, how the smartphone system works. Here it collects the different inputs from the field and it processes it. Accordingly, it controls the pumps, irrigation valves, focus, fan control, etc. will be done. The data will be transferred to the cloud for data analytics as well as for the cloud-aware analytics, where the inference will be generated and it will be given back to the smartphone. Similarly, the data can be given for mobile application, for mobile app use cases, and also for PC connectivity. For in PC, we will get a good GUI. Okay. Then these are some of the other areas where C-DAC is working on. One is smartphone system that I explained. Another one is AgriSense system. That is, as I said, it is a selective membrane based system for fertigation, NPK, basically NPK and boron, calcium, magnesium. These are the 3 macro and micronutrients we are looking for. And this is under development with the help of NIT Trichy, NIT Chemical Engineering Department. We are developing this particular technology. And another one is Smart Agri. That is agro ecosystem model for climate resilient farming. As I said, the saffron cultivation in Kochi, where the different varieties or different climate related plants and crops can be cultivated irrespective of the climatic conditions. If it is in a hot condition or cold condition, we can generate artificially the climatic atmosphere or climatic conditions inside the field, and based on those data, the information will be generated or the control application will be done. So there is another area, smart agro ecosystem model, then cloud-aware data analytics. Cloud-aware data analytics, I already explained about that. Then leaf sense. So as I said, most of the diseases, most of the nutrient deficiencies and pest infestation can be identified well in advance by monitoring the shape, structure and characteristics of the leaves. So these leaves are used for this kind of analysis. Okay, so that is about the leaf sense and nutrient deficiency and pest infestation. So this is a brochure for Sunspur system. Actually, the smartphone system can be used for multiple applications. For normally for open and polyhouse cultivation, we are using smartphone system. In addition to that, it can be used for hydroponics, aquaponics, vertical farming, any kind of agriculture-related application. We can use the smartphone system. And accordingly, if I am using it for hydroponics or aquaponics, then accordingly the type of the sensor and the control algorithm needs to be configured separately for that particular application. Then with the inbuilt screen itself, you can do the configuration. It is advantage. With the inbuilt screen itself, you can do the configuration or execution and all those things. And being an indigenous, as I said, the system is adapted to Indian farming scenarios and Indian conditions, and any level of customization as per the farmer requirement is possible. Okay, then about a use case. Establishing LoRa-based agricultural network, because in the presentation schedule itself, I was insisting to have some technological discussions along with some practical aspects, because with the limitations of time and all, what I thought is I will explain how the LoRaWAN implementation being done for agriculture. Because for the smartphone system, we have connected more than 15 different LoRaWANs in 2 hectares of land at Hyderabad, and we are testing. The testing is going on now. Actually, for the polyhouse and all, we have completed the testing long back. For the last 4 or 5 years, we are in this agricultural automation field. But this particular thing is going on. Here we are using Sigfox communication mechanism for data transmission. So the objective is to design a low-power wireless wide area network sensor node that collects data from the environment and transmit to update the app in every 15 minutes. That is what is my field condition, whether my plant has get enough water. I have to get the updates in every 15 minutes in my mobile app. Okay, so it's mainly focusing on the climatic and soil moisturing conditions. And
Sir, how much area can you cover, sir, the smartphone?
sir, we cannot say that it's an area, because the thing is, suppose I have 2 hectares of land. Okay, and all the in the 2 hectares I have the same plantation, and all the nutrients are supplied to the plants using drip irrigation mechanism. And the climatic condition means the terrain condition of this 2.5 or 2 hectares of the land is the same. Then in that scenario, 1 smartphone will be more than sufficient, because we have to get some sample information from 1 or 2 or 3 places in the farm, and that information will be sufficient. Suppose if I have heterogeneous terrain conditions, and if I have multiple crops in this area, and if I have multiple this sunlight radiation receiving pattern, in some places it is covered, some places not covered, then accordingly the number of sensors will increase. As the number of sensors increases, then we may have to go for multiple smartphone units. So it's not a general calculation. Depending on the field condition and depending on the crop, suppose I have 2.5 or 5 hectares with the same crop, I have the same paddy field or the sugar cane, then some 2 or 3 sensors and 1 smartphone unit is well enough to control that 5 hectares. Okay, but if the terrain, some portions are hill area, some portions are valley, some portions are like that, if inside the 5 hectares I have different terrain conditions and different crops I have, I have in 1 hectare, I have rice, on hectare, I have cucumber, 1 hectare, I have horticulture crop. In that scenario also, the number of the sensors will be more and control algorithm will be complicated. So I may need multiple smart farming units. Okay. So here I have used the communication mechanism, Sigfox. Okay, Sigfox is a communication mechanism that we have used, and SMS. 96 messages we are passing per day from each sensor module. Okay, so then coming to the flowchart. So if the timer, because here in not just like the industrial process and in agriculture farm, the parameters are not going to change in a fraction of milliseconds or microseconds or in seconds. Okay, even the soil moisture, suppose I have watered enough the plant, then the soil moisture will gradually comes down. It won't comes down in a milliseconds or in seconds. So every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes or every 30 minutes, it will be fine for my system. So that the lifespan of the sensors will increase as well as the lifespan of the this crop will also increases. Okay. So I will check for the timing. If the timing has reached, then what it will do is immediately it will switch on the up to the time period, or up to when the time period is not reached, it will be in sleep mode. When the particular time has triggered, it immediately wake up and it do the measurement, it transfers the data to the cloud or to the data concentrate, it again goes to the sleep mode. So in sleep mode, normally the sensors consumes power in the range of microamperes. Okay, so a sensor with a normal battery or a bike battery can run for more than 6 months without any recharge. Okay, if I have some solar panel with a smart solar panel and charging mechanism is available, means nothing. It will go months or years for the sensors. Okay, so this low power operation of the sensor module or the sensor hardware is a must. So only important thing when designing an IoT sensor specifically for agriculture application, the thing you need to keep in mind is the sensor should be of low power. The hardware or the embedded system underneath the sensor must consume very less power. Less power means it should be in the range of milliamperes or microamperes only. Okay, unless otherwise it is useful as far as farming conditions are concerned. Okay. Then data processing. So here the flow will be starts, and when the time reads, it read the temperature value. I am taking the examples of temperature. Reading the temperature value, and it will process the data. Process the data means a small intelligence I will build over this network. I have to check whether it is right or wrong. So for that purpose, I may be taking some 10 values and will be taking the linear regression, means average or regression model. So some algorithms I will run inside the controller or the hardware to give some kind of intelligence, and after the data is processed, it will send the data to the cloud. Once the cloud is the data being sent, it will clear the timer, then again it will go to the sleep mode, and this process continues. This is the operation, and this is the block diagram. Okay, here what we have done is we have a temperature sensor. So this temperature sensor collects the temperature data. That data will be given as an input to the ADC. Yeah.
Instead of LoRa, why should you choosing Sigfox?
Actually, LoRa technology was very well available in India. Now it is a lot of sensors are available. For research purpose, I selected Sigfox because on the first thing is the security aspects. It has a protocol which gives more security.
Okay.
The encryption is more, and the data packet size is less, and it is low power. It is more or less same as LoRa, nothing different. But that communication, that data means the modulation mechanism is different. Sigfox. So I tried the Sigfox mechanism. No specific reason. I tried the Sigfox mechanism for field implementation.
And why the gap between 15 minutes?
That's what I am telling now. Within 15 minutes, there is nothing is going to change abruptly in agricultural field. Suppose I have enough water in the plant, it won't change. In the next second, it won't comes down to, now I have some 80%. In the next 5 seconds, it won't comes down to 60, means 60%, right? So it will take its own time. So that experience, as I increase the time, the battery life will be more. As the battery life is more, it will reduce the means maintenance and it increases the lifespan of the sensors.
No, what I am asking is whether it is comes under Sigfox.
No. For LoRa also the same thing. We have
The 15 minutes.
that is user configure.
Okay.
That is
I can
user
extend
configure.
up to 30 minutes. It's not a problem, right?
Yeah, no, nothing will happen. Huh? No, not like that, sir. It is up to us. It is up to us. We can.
Up to 5 minutes or 10 minutes will not occur anything.
Yeah.
For that you have to manage for 15 minutes.
Sir, 15 minutes, for example, I am telling, 15 minutes is fine. 30 minutes is also fine, no issue. Nothing will happen.
Crops.
Depending on the crops, depending on the soil. So depending on the soil is another important thing. Environment, yeah. Okay. So here, temperature sensors, from the temperature sensors, the data are coming to the microcontroller or ADC. It is converted into digital format. From digital format, it is given to the Sigfox module. Just like LoRa's SX1262 module, there are some Sigfox modules are available. I am giving it as an input to the Sigfox module, and Sigfox module will transmit it. And in the other end, I have another Sigfox module which receives the data. And the advantage is I can create my own protocol so that the data cannot be intruded by others, or data cannot be some foreign data packets or can be intruded inside my packets. Okay, that it reads and the data will be Sigfox software defined radio. SDR means software defined radio. That dongle receives the data and it transmits to another SDR module or software defined radio module Sigfox, and that can be from that data concentrator. It will be transferred to the cloud for further processing. Okay, then this is the circuit diagram, how it is implemented. I have used on this STM board for the evaluation purpose. This is just for research purpose what I have done. Okay, but the module which implemented in are mostly on LoRa based only. This Sigfox I have done for research purpose, and this is also running now. And these are the things it is required. And here you can see the power consumed by this Sigfox module. So during transmission it consumes around 30 milliampere, whereas in sleep mode, after here I am transmitting the data, after then it is around 30 or 40 milliamps. After that it is coming down to around 5 milliamps or less than. That is in sleep mode. Okay, once it reaches the sleep mode, then again as the time reaches, it comes to the transmit mode, it transmits the data, then it comes to the sleep mode. Okay, so this is the normal power calculation, and here I have few graphs of how the data, this is the data what I have transmitted. So I have transmitted few bytes, because temperature means I can transmit it, the temperature data in 4 or 5 bytes with device ID and all those things can be incorporated, and I could transmit the data in real time. And the data will be made available in a mobile application, and the mobile application every 15 minutes. In our case study, what we have done is we have configured the time as 15 minutes, and every 15 minutes my mobile application will get updated with the value. What is the temperature, or what is the temperature in my field. Okay, so with this I may wind up. So C-DAC, as far as C-DAC is concerned, we are ready with the technology for the smartphone system, and adoption to agriculture is likely to be challenged by variety of issues, AI in agriculture, then geospatial technology, IoT technology, and this data-driven agriculture and climate resilient farming. All these technologies has the power to reform the agriculture sector in India. So the next era, just like the industrial revolution or something happened, or industry 5.0, 4.0, industry 4.0, now agriculture 4.0 is also coming up, or it is in place now, which emphasizes on the technology-driven agriculture. So we have a good role to play in this technology-driven and IoT-driven or geospatial-driven, and above all, it's all data-driven agriculture. So thank you. So any more questions, you can contact me. This is my mail address. So if any queries or anything that we can collaboratively with you on, or we can work together. Then this is the area, this is my mail ID and then phone number. You can note down and write to me. Okay, for any further discussion or any collaborative work also. I prefer collaborative work also. And thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
which software you used, sir? You showed some spectrum kind of image
Yeah.
output. Which software you used? Is it inbuilt with Sigfox?
No, madam. Actually, this web form which I am showing was in the CRO. For the power computation, what we have done is we have data logger kind of thing, where the power consumed by that particular unit will be low, and accordingly I have plotted them. It's not some specific. Thank you.
Any more doubts? Feel free to discuss with them, because the person, he is really working in this field of the IoT, the smart agriculture. Okay. So his contribution to the smart agriculture is going to be enormous. Okay, he is developing some more products for the smart agriculture. So you may feel to discuss any collaborative work or any doubts, feel free to contact.
So you mentioned about the NIT Trichy. Can you elaborate on that, sir? What exactly the NIT Trichy and NIT C-DAC?
There's a NPK sensors, right? You are asking about. So there, what we are doing is it's a selective membrane-based technology for measuring the NP and K. So what it is does is that chemical engineering department of NIT, they are developing the selective membrane. Suppose I want to measure the nitrogen concentration in the soil. Then membrane will be developed by NIT Trichy. So it will be just like our pen. At the bottom of the pen, I have a selective membrane. If I dip this inside the soil or the slurry, then only the nitrogen ions will penetrate through this membrane to the electrode. And this electrode will be connected with a reference electrode, so there will be a potential difference. This potential difference I will amplify some amperometric or altimetric technology. Using amperometric or altimetric technology, I will amplify this potential difference, and based on this potential value, I can say what is the current concentration of nitrogen in the soil. Similar is the case with NPK, boron, calcium and magnesium.
So any researcher from another institute, can they have access to these sensor modules? I mean, is there any MOU based aspect?
It's an MOU based. It's an MOU based.
So is it possible for us, for faculty who are not in MIT, to access this?
I think it will be difficult. Okay.
For me, so same. Actually, my topic is quality of sensor, like quality of service in sensor network.
Okay.
I want to compare those kind of protocols like
Sigfox
and LoRa. So I want some data. Is it possible to get from?
Maybe we could discuss offline. Okay. That data maybe C-DAC could provide. Maybe you are from?
From Ratnam College in Coimbatore.
Coimbatore.
Yes.
Okay. We can discuss it.
Sir, selection of seed is more important to farming.
Yes.
Based on our land properties, IoT system suggests any lot of seeds are available in farming. Based on our land properties, IoT system suggests the quality of seeds.
No, sir. The thing is, we cannot suggest the quality of seeds, but maybe the seed needs to be kept under certain conditions for proper germination and proper growth of the plants, right? So those parameters we can collect and we can analyze. But another one important thing what we can do is, depending on the soil condition, suppose this anomaly area or this university area, suppose if I want to do some cultivation and this is my soil, depending on the soil condition, I can suggest this particular crop or this particular seed will be useful for this area. I cannot say the quality of seed, I cannot assure, because unless otherwise, if it is kept under ideal condition, just like the seed banks are there. Recently I visited on ECentre in Hyderabad. They have a very huge seed bank underground. So where all the things they are keeping in an ideal condition, where I can assure that those seeds 100% germination will be there, and it will behave the manner in which it is to be generated or it is to be grown. That I can assure. So if those kind of things I can assure. Okay, unless otherwise the genome kind of seeds and all, it is very difficult to understand from IoT sensors. There are mechanisms are available. From IoT sensors, it is very difficult.
So I have followed all the instructions from IoT. but buyer said our product is not quality. Can I control the shape of the product's output?
Sir, as I said, suppose
Zero defect products.
zero defect product in the sense agricultural yield you are telling about, right?
Yes.
So I can tell an example because in our experimental plant we have an experimental site where we purposefully reduces the concentration of calcium. Okay, if the calcium is less, I am cultivating salad cucumber. Normally the salad cucumber will be good in size and so if calcium is less, then the size of salad cucumber will be round shaped or it will be curved and it will be of narrow in width and so if you could control these parameters, whatever you are giving to the plant, if you can control, you get good product. That is the idea. That is the idea.
Sir, thank you, sir. On behalf of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering, I thank Anish sir for his thought-provoking lecture in the field of smart agriculture. Okay, actually your contribution towards the agriculture is truly inspiring for us. We've done a lot of real-time works and he done a lot of products and he done so many collaborative works. His research area is exactly same one. He is working in the precise agriculture. He is the apt person for this topic also. So once again I thank Dr. Anish for his thoughtful lecture on his applications of IoT in the smart agriculture. I requested Professor Sathyan sir to honor the Anish with small memento and shot.